Welcome back to the 2023 North American Go Federation Pro Quals. We are in round 3, and it's getting heated here. We're going to see some potential knockouts today. We're going to have some amazing commentators on. We're going to have Justin Teng and Albert Yen. I'll have them on camera soon. And we have, just great games. These players are playing their heart out. I talked to Jay yesterday, Jeremiah Donley, and he had a loss in his first game against his friend Eric, and the commentators know these guys too. They'll tell you all about them. But Jay's like, I'm getting serious now. So I mean, I feel like to me the tension, it feels real there. We have a lot of really great serious play happening. It's gonna be really cool. So right now we're getting a little troubleshooting stuff settled. We should be good. And let's bring on the commentators. So Justin, Albert, welcome.
Hello.
Morning.
Welcome to the commentary. I'm Justin Teng, AG 6 Dan, and I'm joined by Albert Yen, who should be 8 Dan.
Yeah.
Sure enough, 5 Dan. Thanks for the catch. Editing on the fly, of course.
So maybe it'd be good we can check out some of the standings right now.
Yeah, sure. Let me hop out of here, and I'll let you guys do that. But the main thing I need you to do, Albert, share that screen again, and the game screen, you guys can just jump into it
I guess someone was asking what the format is. So to advance to the semifinals, there's a round robin group stage. So I think you can still see it on here. There's like a group A and group B. So the top 2 of each group after the round robin will advance to the semifinals. And then from there, I believe the first seed of group A will play the second seed of group B probably, and then vice versa. And the semis and finals will be best of 3.
Right, and since Michael is most likely going to be the top seed coming out of his group, he's going to play the number 2 seed coming from the B group. So whoever's going to come out of the B group second will have very little shot at making the finals. So I think it's first place that we're really looking at from each group.
Yeah, I think that I think that's one of the reasons that the Eric Yoder and Joel Kenny game is actually really important today, because whoever wins that game is very likely to be first in the group. Actually, it might be guaranteed because like the tie breaks are head to head. So if Eric or Joel like beats each other, even if they lose the next game, like everyone else has 2 losses already, so no one can pass them. So then even if the winner of their game today loses in the next round, they'll still own the head to head and they'd still be seeded first. So the game is actually pretty important as well. But first, so I think what we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at 3 of the games, I believe, and we'll spend maybe about an hour going through each game. So we can start with this one because I think this is group A. This is group B.
Group B, yes. So
I actually don't know whether they can still advance, to be honest. So,
I think it's possible for Jay, but not Abraham. Abraham both games, right?
Yeah, I think Abraham and Edward. It depends. I think Edward might already be eliminated because he played Yoder and Kenny already.
Oh,
so
yes.
He wanna own the head to head in either way. So I think he's already eliminated. I think that everyone else. So who is it? Like Abraham and Jay.
They both had a bye yesterday.
Okay, yeah. So they still have a chance if they win the rest of their games. Depending on what happens with Joel Kenny and Eric Yoder, like how the tie breaks might work out with the head-to-head, like they still have some chance, but definitely it's do or die for them. So they really both need to win this game to have even a chance of advancing to the semifinals.
That's right.
So we can go back to the beginning. So Jay is black and Abraham is white. Do you know a lot about Abraham?
No, I actually never heard of Abraham before this tournament.
So I've seen his name from the World Amateur Go Championships. I think there was one year where he lost the first two. It's 8 rounds, right? So he lost the first 2 games and then won the remaining 6, and then ended up getting 8, which is actually quite impressive. I don't remember who he beat. I believe he managed to successfully dodge a lot of the strong Asian players from like
Right.
China, Taipei, Korea, Japan. But I mean, 6-2 record. That's nothing to scoff at for sure.
That means you're sweeping all the like mid-level European players.
Right. So he seems decently strong. I don't know exactly where he would lie, on
Well, it
even
does
the
say
AJ scale or the
5
scale.
dan, so I'll say that should be a reasonable reflection of his strength.
Yeah. And then Jay, I think you know very well, right?
Yeah,
He's
he's
from-
high, very aggressive. I'll say like he studies really hard and knows a lot of shapes, but sometimes he's a little too impatient, so he would just start the round fight. If he can avoid those shortfalls in the opening, I think he performed at a pretty high level, like the strong 5 to a 6 dan.
Yeah, he's definitely very passionate about Go.
That's right.
I don't know a lot about him personally, but I do know that. All right, so let's take a look. So we have, I guess this is kind of a somewhat unusual opening, but
It's because of a
certainly
3-3.
playable. Yeah, and they're both kind of on the same side, so the direction feels a little bit low, so to speak, on the right side, but not super important. So I think this is all pretty standard.
I think
Nothing
the
really to write home
Joseki in
about.
the bottom right is good for black.
Good for black.
Yeah, you don't. I think the extension by white is a little heavy in the opening.
You mean this turn?
The turn and the 2 extensions, especially the first. Yeah, I think the consensus now is if your opponent plays a 3-3, you should leave it alone in the opening and only try to approach it later. So even if you start point, you want to jump instead of extend.
Yeah. I think jump is probably more common. I mean, not that extend is really bad or anything, but it's kind of not trendy, so to speak.
Not trendy.
Yeah, this definitely feels a little bit low considering that, there's a lot of things that white can do right now. Black is not really in any rush to jump on the third line again. So, yeah, white probably could play elsewhere or maybe jump.
I want white to block at Q3 instead of extending.
Yeah?
Yeah. And white
Mm.
can extend and transition to the bottom side. It's very
like on the bottom.
Oh no, like Hane P6.
Wait.
Yeah, you can Hane there once. That's not a bad exchange.
Something like this.
Yeah. So the exchange is like white black starting off with a 3-4, and then white attaches start point, and then black extends back. So that shape is not bad for white.
I see. Personally, I would kind of prefer black just because it feels very solid and you get a good number of points, but I guess I can see some merits with
Yeah, so something to think about.
Yeah.
But black is happy to take the corner and the bottom right.
Yeah.
White has little points. A lot of.
I think this kind of pincer is pretty old school. You don't really see this as much compared to the normal attach and defend. This feels like it would be more consistent with the bottom left. What do you think?
The pincer, I think it's definitely playable for white. Well, though I think I've seen the resurgence of the pincer again.
Really?
There's some new variations.
Yeah, I guess we could probably spend a long time going into the different variations, but probably not the thing to do here. Maybe we can just look at one.
Yeah, so like this, obviously, and then white will hunt from the inside,
Oh, the inside.
and then black cuts. So up to here, and then the wedge. It's all
Yeah.
very old school. And then the new move, B17.
Ah. Wait, what?
B17.
Okay. I was like, wait. So what's the gist behind this?
So I think usually white kind of wants a ladder, but let's say this black connects at B14 or then white captures, and then black has to fix at B13. The shape looks strange, but white can tanuki the corner already because of that tanuki, and it's decent for white.
Would you say it's just even, or
I think it's a little better for white.
A little better for white.
Because it's like the attached Joseki, the Kitani Joseki, except black didn't get the side extension, and white stone at F17 is not that important since the corner.
Right. That's interesting. So let's see what happened in the game. Jay went with this variation. This is also a pretty old variation.
It's known to be a fighting variation from back in the days, but it was kind of going out of favor because it's a little bit slow. Like it lacks a clear follow up. Usually white will came on. Yeah,
this is normal, and then you might see something like this. Sometimes white can peep, and then sometimes white will just, I guess, jump.
Right.
And then I believe
Black approach H17. This Joseki must go back. Yeah, at least 20 years. So the old Josekis, black plays there, white will attach on the fourth line.
Like this.
Yeah, and then white will hunt it once, and then cut at E17. And then transition into the corner.
Something like this.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen this. Yeah, I used to see this in the past, but definitely, like, I have not seen this in the past.
Not even the last 10 years.
Yeah, maybe not even the last 10 years. This is pretty old. But Abraham decided to play this move. Definitely not as common. I think what this move lacks compared to this one is also kind of a clear follow-up. Like if black plays elsewhere, white has this very nice seal here. But with this one, it feels like suddenly it's not as urgent for black to play, something immediately, kind of like it was before. Well, black has a lot more room for flexibility.
Also a good move to reduce the top, since black does have a strong Shimari shape top right. So I think it's a reasonable move.
Reasonable. So Jay pincered here, and white jumped, and black jumped.
I kind of feel like the jump is unnecessary. Because black can run to the corner anytime. I'll rather just attack from E6.
E6, maybe.
Yeah, as white. So instead of jumping here. So
white plays,
no, D6.
Oh, D6.
So if black kills the top, this white zone, and white can also kill the bottom left zone, the trade is clearly good for white.
Yeah, I guess it's also the other thing here is like even after white jumps, black can always connect under with B13. So the jump kind of loses a lot of meaning, I feel. The other thing is that there's still no great follow-up for white locally as well. So even if black played elsewhere, like the most white can do is maybe play here, but then there's still a really annoying hole with E16. So it feels a little bit awkward for white. So black jumped, white jumped again, black jumped again, and white jumped
and the other thing is, in any fighting variation, you'd rather the G17 stone be out of the Kama.
Right. So black comes out, and white comes back to the corner. Interesting. So They Hane at b4 to try and get Sente to prevent the connection, and then try to just swallow up the stone immediately.
I think that's a good move.
So what is the situation with the fight here now?
I think black is just trying to seal and make a sabaki shape here. The goal not necessarily try to get points or to kill the white stone. As long as black can seal on the outside, black should be satisfied.
So I guess we can okay. So white clamped here. This is kind of aiming at
Thing is
if
very
black connects.
risky.
Yeah, this code does not seem that fightable for white, because when black takes, now if black ends the code, black is to capture another stone and a Tanuki, and white is going to die anyways.
Yeah, this is too scary for white.
The other thing is that, yeah, it's really difficult to do this. But then now that white played here, it feels like white is almost already committed in a way. And now white already gave up a lot by not being able to capture b5 anymore.
Yeah, because before white had a chance to sacrifice actually. If
White can just play this.
Or just capture that stone. Black doesn't have a lot of points.
Yeah, in the future, if white gets this one, it's not a big deal. White can get this one too.
It's
About 10 points. Yeah. Now white is making it a lot heavier, so now it feels like white has to come out. But if you have to come out like this, feels very awkward for white. I'm guessing black will just come out.
Yeah, I think if white doesn't manage this well, white can just collapse from here.
Yeah, so what options does white have now? White has to worry about this stone here. Black might Atari at g5. White still has to worry about the 3 stones here. White also still has to worry about the 3 stones here. So white is definitely very busy at this point. Seems like it might be tough for white to manage everything at once. And it seems like white decided to move out with the 3 stones first. Maybe aiming to connect back to the 3 stones, which would be nice for white, so we can settle both sides at once.
I think this P might be a mistake.
It feels like, the fight is going on the left side, and all of a sudden black's like, oh, I'm gonna do something else now.
It does have a follow-up at f4 potentially, but I think keeping first, it just, you don't want to take a lot first before you start a fight. Because after white connects at c3, the code becomes a lot lighter for white.
Right.
It is just a liability.
Yeah. So now let's say black were to defend the left side group. Now when white starts his code, when black finishes the code, black has to just connect. Black can no longer take at c3 anymore. And so if this goes badly for black, then the c2 exchange might end up being very bad.
I think the black probably aiming to cut at f4.
Actually, hold on. I think the game is here right now. Yeah. So if black cuts at f4,
white will play extend.
White extends.
Black extend.
Black extend down.
Yeah. I feel
like this is like unnecessary complications.
Right.
Because, maybe black can try to do something in the corner, but, that code is a ticking time bomb.
White will probably turn at d2, and black
D2?
still have to, doesn't have time to kill the corner yet, and it's hard to fix both weak groups.
Yeah, black might end up needing to...
Black probably push several times and then jump.
Push.
Yeah, push a few more times.
This.
Yeah, and then jump.
Do you think you should just leave this code there? I mean, I guess right now maybe there aren't
start the code. Right.
Yeah. There aren't too many code threats for white to play right now.
We can see even here, like the c2, c3 exchange doesn't really help black. Without that, white will play at c2, but then black gets an e2. Okay.
Yeah, so this d2 stone actually hurts black a lot on the side as well. Gives away a lot more openings to kind of jump in here later.
And white is alive in the corner. Like there's not even a call.
Right. So for
Because
example,
of
let's say that black tries to turn.
White can hane and then
just jump.
Yeah.
And this will already be alive. Well, it's basically like black is too weak on the side to really do anything. But the game is still here right now, so I wonder what else Abraham might be thinking about.
Maybe just considering the fight after the cut.
You mean like but surely he's going to play c3, right?
Right, that seems to be.
Is there any other option that he might consider?
No other good option.
Theoretically, like let's say he connected and black cut and just takes the corner. I wonder whether he's thinking about just cutting this and then I don't know, playing something outside, but that doesn't seem very good. Maybe he's considering playing on this side, but that doesn't seem very good either. Yeah, connect really seems like the only move here. Let's check back in with chat. Sometimes I need to pop this chat out so I can see what you guys are saying more easily. Pop out.
And it looks like the AI suggestion is just a simple connect.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. We're still over here right now.
Yeah. I don't know about Abraham playing style, but I think this like complicated, chaotic fighting is definitely playing to Jay's favor because this is the type of game that he really enjoys.
Yeah, I've not looked at any of his games. I don't know that any of his game methods are publicly available. Maybe some of the games from WAGC, but maybe not. I'm not sure where I would find them. Yeah, I think the two players from Mexico playing in the tournament this year.
Garcia.
Not a lot of people know a lot about their level. I think we hear the names from some of these big international tournaments, but other than that, I don't know like how the record is in Mexico, or how strong they are online or things like that. And it seems like Abraham did connect at c3. The question is, will Jay go for the cut at f4?
Yeah,
there are other considerations.
He will definitely cut there.
I mean, it would make sense.
There's no follow to this move.
Right. I mean, he might also consider just playing back around this area and just coming back to this left side fight, which I think it's plausible. Like white has two weak roots here, black might as well do something. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense in the context of playing c2. It's one of those things where it's like, sometimes you can kind of get the idea of where someone is going based on the previous moves they play. So, if you want to be consistent, then from a human thinking perspective, if you play c2, you want to follow it up with something that's related afterwards. Midnight the Blue says c11 and d9 stones in trouble at all. So let's just say that the fight concludes on the left side, and let's say, for example, if white plays a single move on the left side, is there any way that black might be in danger?
I think f10 is probably the best move.
F10. Is there f10 would connect back the two white groups. But as far as attacking the two black stones go, black can always connect with a move like this.
That is not a complete connection. So usually black wouldn't want to play that unless it's a last resort.
Well, so just to show people, if white tries to do this Hane, which might be the first instinct, black can cut and then attire like this. So now if white takes, then black can connect everything up and white suffers pretty horribly on the side. But in this case, white can extend this way. And if black connects here, there's still this cut on this side. So there's still the potential for black's other stones to get cut off this way. So it's not necessary that, white or black will do this immediately, but it's something that you would need to keep in mind.
White also has some weakness, for example, at E9. So it's hard to completely seal black without Audrey.
Yeah, so this move would threaten to Hane here.
Right.
Although white can cut.
Yeah, so right now cut, so it's hard to say whether black
can right now it wouldn't work.
Really use that Audrey. But depending on how the bottom left pans out, there might be something there.
Yeah, so I think the idea is that, when black cuts here, white probably can't, Tanuki immediately to come back to the left side. But yeah, depending on how this fight shapes out, if black is able to get D5 and Sente, then it becomes more difficult to attack the two black stones on the side.
Or depending on how the fight turns out, like it's possible for black to sacrifice those two stones. Black profits enough in the bottom left. Because black already has two corners on the right side, and the left side was white's two corners to begin with. Like black doesn't need to get everything.
So I believe this is the game right now.
This is the game.
So Jade did cut at F4, and then descended down to F3 like we looked at before. And now we expect that white might play D2, although the AI suggests playing at E3, which I guess is more direct. This way you can kind of threaten the two black stones a little more effectively. And it's still very difficult for black to do anything to the bottom left corner.
And that also relates to the ko, Audrey.
Right. So now, even if, when white sets his ko, before with the cut, before E3 happened, black could end the ko by capturing E3. Now, just like with C3, black can't even do that. And if black is forced to connect to end the ko, then the shape, of course, is much worse for black. So at this point, extend feels like the only move, but yeah, you can't really push any time soon, because then white might Hane, right? Or would white extend?
White will probably extend. And then black will do the one space jump.
Well, he descended first.
Descend. Oh, that's actually the best move for going to AI.
So we might want to look at what happens if white comes down and tries to swallow up the whole thing. What does this capture race look like?
I think black can climb up D2.
Yeah, so black actually has a lot of liberties here, so white is actually pretty short.
White short on liberty.
If white tries to say Hane, and then black can come back. I guess there's a ko here.
But white doesn't have ko threat.
Yeah, black will take the ko first. And no matter what white plays elsewhere, black will definitely just take it immediately. That would also get rid of the ko weakness that was here earlier. That would definitely be not very doable for white. So in that case, white probably just has to live in the corner, right?
Right, and in the game he did just turn. But this is not completely alive though, right?
Yeah, it feels like black can Hane. So locally speaking, if white blocks, then black can play
Yeah.
here.
So why
And
would
this would be dead shape.
use connection issues on the outside to live later?
Yeah, or use this code.
Right. But in terms of points, I think that move already lost a bit.
B2.
Yeah, B2.
Mm.
A little bit painful.
Mm. So black did jump out, kind of leaving this corner situation in reserve. It's kind of interesting because like black also has to worry about this ko at some point. Maybe not immediately, but it's still like a threat that's out there. But at the same time, white also does need to worry about the corner as well.
I think black missed an important exchange. White black need to push first, otherwise the turn is quite painful. Push at h6 before jumping out.
Push here.
Yeah, because right now white still needs to extend.
So what happens if white tries to just jump down?
I think black will just sacrifice the 3 stones, Hane double Hane, and create a big wall. Right.
Yeah, it's a little bit difficult for white to keep pushing maybe.
Yeah, white will need to
considering these are all gonna be Sente and then
right.
And
just Hane
maybe
again.
Maybe even Hane again, yeah.
White I need to play H2.
H2
instead of L3.
Oh, yeah. But if white plays here, then black turning becomes very painful.
It's also Sente. Otherwise, Atari's just too big.
Yeah, it's not necessarily Sente against the 3 stones, but yeah, like right now, if black tries to do this immediately, black still has more liberties. But after this one, actually, is this still Sente?
I think that's Sente. Or black can just force a Seki. So maybe it's about 20-point move.
Yeah.
With thickness implications.
So if white doesn't respond to this, can black just take in diagonal, I guess?
Yeah.
And then diagonal here?
So it's a Seki. But black would play the Seki right away.
This would be a Seki.
Yeah, because black can also throw in at H4 to capture the J4 stone. So then the wall is very, very strong.
Right. So if something like this happens, black can play here in Sente. The white has to come back to capture the 3 stones. And then black can Atari again like this, and then force this as well. Oh, so painful. And then, yeah, now black is mega, mega, mega strong on the outside. And then I guess black can come back to fix this area.
And even assuming the white's 2 moves are on the left side, killing the two stones, black will then have time to attack the right side.
Although it is worth noting that, in this variation, white does get 2 moves elsewhere, right? So if this happens and black turns, let's say white spends a move here.
Then black can move out the left side first.
So maybe play here now, and then save this K2 for later.
And then white is definitely under attack. The corner is not that big. It's less than 20 points.
Yeah, I guess when you consider the fact that eventually white will need to capture the 3 stones. Right now it might look kind of big, but when white has to capture it, then it really just becomes 6 points in this area, and then plus maybe another.
And then there's a Seki Aji after that. If it's a Seki, if the bottom becomes a Seki.
Right, and then it becomes even smaller.
So I think white missed a critical turn here. So turn here is a vital point because of the Ko-Aji in the corner. It's hard for black to respond to this move. So normally black wants to attach, but right now white can wedge in the corner. A D. It looks like black will collapse. White will block D7
And then if black takes, then white can just switch. And like this, black's just dead. Yeah, that seems pretty difficult for black. But if black plays here, yeah, you never want to play here. Right?
Yeah, it's
especially like this
triangle.
exchange becomes really good for white.
White has already won.
But white jumped out first. What do you think Jay would do here? Do you think he would extend again at the bottom, or would he move out the 4 stones?
I think he would move out the center somehow. That seems to be the more urgent area.
Maybe would he like diagonal or push or attach? The black does want to be a little bit careful about not making white too strong, right? Otherwise the 2 stones become weaker.
Yeah, and black has some liberty shortage issue as well.
What would you play here as black? Diagonal is kind of my first instinct, but it also feels a little bit awkward shape.
Let's see. I almost just want to connect at d5.
D5. Just erase any Audrey there.
Yeah,
I guess it's also somewhat sente, right? Because
right,
as
it
you
is
said before, the
sente
corner's on the
against the
wire.
corner. So white needs to block at e2.
Right.
And then it's hard for white to steal black now.
Yeah.
Because white also had liberty shortage. So maybe black can try moves like a peep at j6. Yeah.
So let's say that white tries to resist.
And then black will block. Just a way to save.
No. What if white tries to cut?
And can black push at j5 now?
D5. Maybe we're back to sacrificing the 3 stones?
Right, the similar sacrifice variation.
So white can exchange this first. Atari, take. Maybe come down.
Yep, and then maybe black has a.
It might even still be a sec.
I think black has the Atari L3. The question then becomes whether the left side is in trouble. Maybe it doesn't work for black because white gets sent here.
Yeah, there's an issue still with this kind of thing, or here.
Yeah.
Or I guess no, just here, Yeah. Yeah. So maybe it's a little bit risky right now. But in the game, he came out like this. It seems okay. It does seem a little bit awkward in the sense that, black is weakening the 2 stones on the left. So, it's something that black needs to be a little bit careful about, I feel.
For sure.
So white honey, this is the natural move. Black extended. And white came down here. So now black does need to worry a little bit about this bottom group. What's the situation here?
I think it's a good timing to cut the left side.
The left side?
So like for example, d7.
Yeah.
Yeah, white is not completely connected.
So white, if white plays here, then
maybe black extends.
Black can extend. I guess the
Seems
question,
like
so,
there's a cut.
So let's say that white plays here, right?
And then black.
And now black connects. Well, I mean, then white can just connect here, right?
But then I think the corner's in trouble.
Right.
If you play a3.
A3.
I think black has more liberties.
So for example, something like this, and then if white plays here,
And then black honey. I think white should just Atari at D2 to maximize
Right.
it. Instead of E2.
Oh.
But it's hard to fight the semi. Black has too many liberties.
Yeah, so it's not really a very efficient way for white to reduce black's liberties here. So even if you play a move like here, but I mean the issue is that like even this becomes Sente now. Like white still has to come back and fix this, and black can what just.
Oh yeah, two. Black wouldn't descend though. I think F1. Well, Black would just play H2.
Yeah.
Black shape is alive.
So if white were to play here, black can just. Well, it's not like alive per se, but definitely has a lot of liberties. Even if black just plays here, there's so many outside liberties for black that it doesn't seem easy for white to show all the liberties in time.
Yeah, black's at least ahead by 1, probably 2.
Yeah.
So I think black. This is a good chance for black to really take the lead in the game.
So I guess the idea is that because this move is essentially Sente against the corner, then there's like a cutting problem in on the other side. But of course, black wouldn't want to do this first, right? Because then white might just sacrifice the side and take the bottom. Let's say white just plays here.
Blocks, yeah, and then.
So now, if black were to try to do this, white would probably just say, "Okay, whatever," and then come back, try to kill the bottom side.
So if black Hane's first, then black can effectively move the D5 stone to a more physical position.
Exactly. But in the game, Jay decided to just live immediately first.
That looks painful.
And white fixed the outside here. Okay, so now white is back to being connected on the outside.
I think still like D5 is a vital point because that exposed some of white's liberty issues and gives black a good follow up at C9.
Right. Yeah, I feel like in Go, it's always important to kind of simplify positions as much as you can. Otherwise, if you leave things like unsettled, then they end up becoming a burden in the future. So white peeped here, aiming to disconnect the two black stones. But when white peeps here, white does give up stuff in the corner. You know, now white's corner is much weaker than before. What do you think
capturing the two stones is really not the priority. The priority is to settle the whole group. So like something like C9. If we just ignore the G, the co-op G for now.
Right. I think white is thinking that like he's probably thinking that he wants to settle the whole group, but he wants to do it in like a bigger way, right? He wants to get the whole thing. But the thing is, like, this exchange itself, I feel like it's not really a plus for white, even though it does disconnect the black group.
And the left side really isn't that big because there's RG in the center and black has a monkey jump at A12.
Right. So it's not like white can get a lot of points here. Yeah.
Right. Maybe they missed that D5 connect is Sente against the corner.
Maybe, but I feel like at this level, like they should be able to see that, right?
I'm puzzled by the subsequent move. So black bump at D16 to get Sente.
So he's thinking that if white plays here, then maybe he will move out and do something else.
And then he wedged at c7. That looks like a mega blunder to me.
What do you think he's trying to do with this move? It looks fancy, but
trying to fix the Koaji, but
yeah, maybe
no follow up after white Atari at b7.
Now, if black tries to come out,
White just Atari from the top.
yeah.
And
what did white gain?
After the two black stones in Sente. So now the two stones are dead for black on the left.
Right.
We weren't sure if white can capture them in one move, and now basically black got a gote death.
Yeah. It feels, this is one of those things where it's like, you know how they always say, like, I feel like when Jay played this move, he probably felt like, this is a move that spoke to him. Like he had his own reason for playing this, right?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Like it's something that you don't see often. You probably read some plan that you think works. But at some point, you have to be rational too. Yeah, I'm not sure what else he might have been thinking here. If white Atari this side, of course, it's that not as good.
Yeah, so it's very similar to the black pass. But it's like black pass in this position, effectively losing a move. I think between d16 and the white, black probably lost 10 points.
Yeah, that's at this level. That's pretty severe. Now it is worth noting that Abraham did play, or Jay played elsewhere here, which makes sense. Now that white is completely settled on the left side, now black actually does need to worry about this center group. I guess one of the saving graces might be that white is still not alive in the corner though. But there's always that.
There's actually no way to kill because white can connect on the first line if you play it out.
So like for example, let's say if black tries to do it now. Now white can play.
Yeah, d5.
This one.
Yeah, and then connect on the left.
This one, and even if black takes the ko, then white can connect with this.
Right. So the corner attack doesn't work unless there's a stone at d5.
Right. What is it in there now? Okay, so let's go back a little bit. So after this, white jumped. Black peeked this. This exchange probably doesn't feel good. Right now. Oh, wait, but they can hear me. Oh, I guys, we're hearing some mysterious voices from the back. But we can keep going for a little bit longer. Maybe until we catch back up the game.
Yeah, the game is heating up a bit. I think we'll take a short break in a bit once we catch up to the game.
Yeah.
Maybe it's taking more time to wrap things up.
So, black peeped, white connected, black added another move on the bottom. Is this necessary?
I think otherwise the block is painful, but probably not.
That's what you're thinking. So let's say, for example, if he blocks, then black can still live, but then the fact that this is Sente it is pretty painful.
I think black wants to save the two stone on the left now, otherwise black gain nothing from the fight.
Yeah, but it's hard for black to save the two stones on the left, right?
There's still like Audrey, like F12. There's a couple peep that black can use.
For example, maybe this one. Let's just say white connects. Maybe this one.
Yeah, and then G11-ish around there. Maybe black can still fight.
Seems still pretty difficult though. Not sure. But, I mean, even if Black has wants to spend another move here, it feels pretty painful to have to add another move on the second line as well.
I think that also it shows why the earlier K2 to me was a mistake. Black lost a lot of tempo, spending 2 moves on the second line.
Yeah. So White started this code immediately. And Black peaked, and White connected. And White did this one. This is Sente. And now we're up to this point. So right now
that's a little unnecessary for White to start the call.
Yeah, it's not super important because, as we saw before, like White was already alive. So it's possible maybe he didn't think he was alive, so that's why he started the call.
Well, now if Black captures a call, White is not alive in the corner. Because
Right.
White stone is at D7 instead of B6.
Right. So some risk for White, but White's definitely still in a very powerful position right now. Bai says, isn't it important to decode more about the weaknesses of the outside group? I don't
Outside
know.
is definitely more important right now. I wonder if N6 was an over. What if maybe Black should probably Kema.
Kema instead of oh, like this one?
Yeah. So the shape is fine.
Yeah, I think when Black plays here, it kind of creates some more issues for Black, right? Outside's getting a little bit weaker as well.
Right.
Well, so I think Abraham's still in a pretty good position right now. It's kind of remains to be seen how this fight will pan out. But why don't we go on break now and we can
take a quick break.
One of the other games.
Whether you're looking for boards for your club or event, or just want to treat yourself, the Baduk Club store has all of your Go needs. With discounts on multiples, we make running your event easy and affordable. Or check out our vintage section to treat you or someone you know to high-quality boards, stones, and bowls. Looking to rep your love of the game wherever you go? Our gifts and apparel section has t-shirts, jackets, bags, mugs, and more. You can find it all at store.baduk.club.
Okay.
And we're back.
Welcome back, everyone. So we'll change gears a little bit to focus on the game between Emil Garcia and Nate Morse.
I actually got to meet Emil in Japan earlier.
Me
this year.
too,
Actually,
yeah.
you did too. Yeah, we both did. He
has
gave a
to be
nice
the
presentation.
strongest Go president.
Yeah, probably. Well, are we at least outside of Asia, right?
Outside of Asia, right?
Yeah,
5 done.
yeah, for
4 to
sure.
5.
Yeah, he was definitely like a pretty chill guy. Nice to chat with. He gave like a nice presentation about how Go is doing in Mexico.
Yeah, Go Latin America.
Yeah, seems like he's doing big things. And for Nathan, I guess most people know him as Telegraph Go. He's a pretty popular Go streamer who's been doing it for a long time. He played in the Pro Qualifier last year as well, and
he also played
in
the Masters this
yeah.
year. Unfortunately, he didn't really do all that well in either tournament, but again, those are highly competitive. And
Right,
that
right.
he's been studying and preparing for this year's football.
Right. They're both 1-1, so they're both in the running to still make the semifinals. They're in Group A, right? So yeah, they're in the group with Michael Chen.
So,
And if we assume that Michael Chen will sweep the group stage, then the field is pretty wide open for second place. So, a win here would really help them towards getting to that semifinals.
and on the other hand, if they lose this round, there would be virtually no chance of either.
Yeah. Well, I think even if they lose, there's still some chance if they win the next 2 rounds after, but virtually none. I don't know. I know. Nathan played Michael already. Emil hasn't played. Has Emil played Michael yet?
So if Emil loses, he basically will be knocked out.
Yeah, because he still has to play Michael, right?
Right.
Mm. He plays Michael. No, he played. Wait.
He lost to.
He played Michael in the evening today.
Okay.
So he has to win this game. Otherwise, his chances are pretty low.
So it's a quick update on this game. Black Emil is doing decently well. Has a slight lead, but it's still wide open.
I think it's interesting to note that even though it says Emil's rating is 4-dan, I don't know if that's his Mexico rating or
I
his
saw
AG
somewhere. I think in the promotional video it said his rating is 3.97. I don't know where that.
Yeah, but I looked into that and like apparently he hasn't played in the AGA tournament since like 2004 or something.
2004.
Like a long time ago.
Oh,
so I don't think that rating is accurate at
goes way
all.
back. Okay.
Yeah. I thought I remember him being 5-dan in Mexico.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Nate Morse is a reputable AGA 5-dan.
Okay, so Emil's last AGA rated game was at the 2007 US Go Congress, where after that tournament his rating was 3.97. But it's been 16 years since that, so I'm sure he's improved.
Yeah, I'm sure some people in the
16
audience weren't even born at that time, or didn't even
probably.
get to go at the very least.
Yeah. Okay. So it says that we have someone in chat saying that he is 5-dan in Mexico.
Do we know how Mexican ranks compared to AGA ranks?
I actually don't. I'm actually not sure how they do the rating system. But I do know that Emil has represented Mexico in some tournaments previously. So obviously he's among the top caliber of players there. I think I saw in the bio that he got 6th in KPMC once, which is pretty high. Like that's very high.
Yeah.
It's not easy to get 6th place.
And someone
I don't know what year that was.
Whether Michael Chen's game was done. From the video feed, it did look like his game was done because he was.
Yeah, you can see in the bottom left corner of the video feed. You can see his board is clean. I think they were reviewing several minutes ago. It's likely that Michael won. You can also see, well, before this guy was standing there blocking the camera, but there's Emil playing Nate at the bottom right of the video feed. And then I believe that's Jay versus Abraham in the top left. Eric versus Audrey in the middle right. And I believe Yoder versus Penny in the top right. Once the guy blocking the camera moves.
So the plan is we'll cover the game between Emil and Nate in this next hour, and then in the final hour, we'll go back to the high-profile game between Eric Yoder and Joel Kenny, both of whom are undefeated so far.
Right.
Yeah, so in this game, Emil is black. It's an interesting cross corner where usually you have player getting like consecutive corners, but in this game it's cross. This usually leads to more fighting-oriented games or games where neither side has a large moyo because there's no synergy. Every group would be split. This is a common Joseki. This move is interesting. My first instinct would be for white to play somewhere over here. But obviously white can also take initiative to attack the right side, since it's also common for black to fix here.
But it's also not really any reason for white not to press, right? Is there any world where white might do something other than that?
Maybe white just doesn't want to get into this fight right now. There's a chance that somehow black gets sente, and then we'll come back to the right side.
Okay, that's a pretty good reason.
go back. And since the pincer is a 3-space pincer, black doesn't have a very solid follow-up either. So even if white plays here, white can still live later. If this is a 2-space, I think the follow will be more severe. Black can seal like this.
Right.
Okay. I think this move is definitely a mistake.
Yeah, that's not very necessary.
I think Hane is the only move. So if when black blocks, then you can defend or jump here at the very least.
Yeah, I think jump a Hane would be what comes to mind first.
And shape-wise, pincering here might be better. Because later, when let's say black pushes from here, the pincer stone wouldn't be under attack as much.
Right.
Something like that. White can still fight. Oh, that's interesting.
Well, maybe white added a move because he was too concerned about black cutting. But the thing is, like, even if black just Hanes, later at 06, like that feels pretty nice for black to get seal in White's entire corner.
So this will be sent here for black later. So black has a complete shape here. And white can't even cut because of this throwing.
Right.
So I think white made a small shape error here.
Pierre in chat says, how many wins should one theoretically have to be second or higher? So I believe that in Group A, if we assume that Michael Chen will be 5-0, I do believe a 3-2 could make it out. Of course, if let's say, for example, Nate Morse is 1-1, he lost to Michael already. If he wins the rest of his games, he'll be 4-1 and of course make it out. But if he loses another game, then I believe 3-2 can make it out. In Group B, because there's one fewer player, you will need to be 3-1. But I'm not sure if maybe 2-2 with a bye might make it out, depending on how things shake out. I think so. In this case, even if both players lose this game, they are not completely eliminated. But considering that Emil hasn't played Michael yet, if he loses this game, it's going to be a very tall task for him because he would have to beat Michael in order to stay alive. Whereas if Nate loses this game, he still has some chance if he wins the rest of his games. Why is Albert or me not in this tournament? Albert, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I guess people have been asking me this for a long time now. I just don't think I really practice enough. And even if I theoretically win and become a professional player, I don't know what I'll really do with that. Because I don't think it's realistic for me to compete in pro tournaments regularly. I've been to a few amateur international tournaments, and I enjoy those a lot because it's much stronger emphasis on the social aspects rather than just the competition. So in short, amateur tournaments are more fun, and I like being an amateur.
Yeah, it's like once you become a pro and you play in the major international championships, it's a lot of pressure. Like you want to really perform very, very well on the big stage at that professional level. And I think for me too, I don't think that's something I'm really striving for. I'll be happy being a very strong amateur. Maybe one day I can get to Albert's level or something. But I think being a top amateur, I think is enough for me. The dedication and work it takes to become a top professional level it's probably not one of my primary goals.
And because we all have jobs outside of Go.
Right.
It's hard to compete against a full-time player.
Right, right.
So back to the game, I think Nate here used a really nice sacrifice strategy and got a good result. So
You don't see this kind of cut that often, right? Because usually people, when you Atari IQ 10 and Connect, people will usually say that the shape is good for black. Like white feels a little fall.
Yeah, right. This Atari is kind of weird, but if black plays a normal move here, white has a nice sacrifice like this, and white can cut.
Yeah, that's a lot of value for white. And even though white loses the 3 stones, like black shape is actually quite overconcentrated.
Although I think this is better for black than the game. The game seemed like black saved 2 stones, but black lost a lot in the top right. If black plays like this, white doesn't really have a ton of points. So black can Atari and save part of it later. And if white seal on the outside, there could be a capturing race, for example, like this. And then there might be Audrey in the corner. So let's say has a block. There's some corner Audrey here.
Right.
So white might have gotten 10 points on those. And allowing black to capture 3 stones on the right is also pretty valuable.
It's always important to keep in mind like the end game implications of a territory. I think a lot of people they look at this and they think like, oh, white has a really fat corner, right?
But this is already white territory to begin with. So white only got like the square points extra. But most of the square point white needs to eventually come back and fix.
Right.
So it's not even 10 points. And black did profit a lot here too.
Yeah. What does the moving black-white bar indicate? I believe it's percentage, the win percentage.
Yes, that's the win percentage. And there's also a lead. So the number next to lead is black's point lead before Comey. So right now it says 9.3.
Oh, that's before Comey?
Yeah, that's before Comey. So that means black is about 2 points ahead. That's why the percentage is not lopsided. If black is indeed 9 points ahead after Comey, then it will be like 95+%.
I think you should just change it to incorporate Comey.
Yeah, I don't know why. There might be some technical difficulty in implementing that. But I'm sure it will be fixed.
Yeah.
So just keep that in mind. The point lead is before Comey.
Okay.
So in the game, black didn't want to sacrifice the 2 stones, and Atari from here. So I think white gained a lot. Profit a lot.
Yeah,
here.
this kind of Atari. I feel like whenever you see, like the 3 stones, how like they're kind of undercutting the 4/4 stone. I feel like whenever you see that sort of shape, it feels very awkward.
Yeah, it's one thing if the A stone's at B, then black can like connect underneath with an extra push.
Right.
But right now, black cannot. So black almost broken here.
Yeah.
And I'll point out something small, but it's important to know. Like this Hane, like we'll play here instinctively, but in the game, white is just sacrificing the entire right side. So there's no reason to play this Hane. So for example, later, when white blocks here, then the Hane definitely is not a good exchange. So potentially black will fix, and then white can get this Hane Sente. In the game, white makes a Hane exchange first, so white might no longer get this Hane Sente.
Right. We talk asked, how did Jeremiah's game go? I believe they are still in progress. That game is still in progress.
Yeah, you can follow the game on OGS.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's better for white to extend here to deny black the peak. This shouldn't be a big deal.
Probably is. That's my feeling.
I think my major issue with white's jump. This block looks like a Sente. If white Black ignores connecting here, Sente. White wins this capturing race, right?
Is it possible for? Oh,
Yeah, so unless black will live here and then allow white to cut.
right.
So assuming the block is Sente, white should just block and jump into the corner.
Well, white could possibly do that after jumping in the corner initially first, right?
I think the problem is white didn't get a chance to. So in the game, black connected everything.
Well, I'm saying, like, is it possible for white to just turn after black blocks?
Turn here.
Yeah.
I think that's possible. It will be the same result.
Right.
But it's important to turn at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also unsure why white didn't Atari here. It's, maybe white want to save this Aji, but it's
Yeah. Sometimes I think it's hard to tell when you should save it and when you should just give it up.
I guess white can choose to do that later. Well, what's the situation with this cut?
Well, black will throw in. We'll probably just give up the 2 stones.
Oh, then this will be a very big move later.
Right.
The Aji here is still very bad. So if white chooses Atari from here, then there's definitely something.
Right. That might be why white didn't make that a target.
Yeah, that makes sense. Here, I think white made a mistake by not exchanging the turn here. So now white can basically cut off black's corner group. This doesn't do anything. But black can't even connect here because of liberty.
Yeah. Right.
So basically white can live in the corner and black's group is still weak. So black needs to extend and then white gets sent there. In terms of points and thickness, this is a world difference from the game. In the game, white live with a very small corner and black is completely connected. So black got more points and the outside white group is not alive. Later, black can potentially save this zone. White only has one eye.
Right.
The corner is also not completely safe.
It's not completely safe, but it's also not easy for black to kill, I would say.
So it's just a regular small corner.
Yeah, probably.
Only about 6 points.
Oh, this was interesting. Kind of a common Tetsuji you might see, but the question is it good? And personally, that's the safe move, but maybe he just didn't want to leave the Aji of that potential card.
I think black should also block from this side and potentially just allow white to live here.
You don't think the game result was okay?
Let's see what the game result is. I guess the game worked out for black too, but I wonder if white had other options.
A little bit messy. If one can just live more simply.
I think white should just sacrifice. The Aji is really bad. So later this is Sente, and there could be a lot of like attach Hane Aji. And also black has liberty shortage. So there will be a lot of moves around here will definitely be Sente. Otherwise white will live. White can live. And now white has a nice framework on the left, and this will synergize well with the center thickness. In the game, white got a lot of stones in the middle, and that really weakened the right side group.
I feel like it can sometimes be scary to give someone like a lot of territory, though.
That's true, but I think we also have to count, like taking into account what we lose. So white maybe destroyed 15 points in the bottom, but lost the entire influence on the left side. In the sacrifice variation, white clearly has a very nice territory on the left. and it's hard to say which side is bigger, like the left side white moyo or the bottom black group. I'm almost want to say the left side is bigger.
I think the left side definitely has more potential, but people who like having a solid cache, sometimes it's like, sometimes you get baited into taking territory where like, you just take the points and then think that somehow you'll reduce the outside later. But I think sometimes it's also hard to tell. Like,
it seems painful after black consuming here. White almost died on the left, which is hard to imagine 10 moves before.
Right.
I think we can all learn a little bit from this clam. It's a very nice timing. So idea is if black connects here, black doesn't have to attack right away. Black can fix the outside first. And then white will need to live later. If black extends first, white can Atari and live here. So this is a nice testing move. In the game, white is forced to Atari. Let's think first. So in the game, white is forced to Atari, make this bad exchange. And that gave black a very nice ladder.
Maybe you can quickly show what happens if black did play b6. Like if white connected and when black did play d6.
Yeah, this is definitely the most complicated variation. As white is painful to make this exchange, so I would really want white to connect here and then live like this if possible. So the question becomes, can black kill? But then there's the other level is, even if black can kill, is it okay for white?
Right.
And the very basic level, white can already sacrifice with something like this. And in fact, this is Sente because black can fill here. So black Tenuki, white fills, white black has liberty shortage.
Right.
So white can already have a nice squeeze. And this, I don't know if white can do this. There's already this is already a ko.
Right.
This almost already looks acceptable for white. If I Atari here and then fix here.
Play some right there. Yeah, top left is big, even though black captured the 6 stones.
Yeah, so black basically had some points in the bottom. White destroyed that. Black captured some on the left side. But then white now had this gigantic moyo in the top left. I'm not sure if this is really worthwhile for black. And now white has thickness on the right and left side. It's hard for black to, for example, harder for black to use this weakness.
Right.
And it's possible white has even stronger moves. For example, what if white connect? Because black also doesn't have a lot of liberties in the corner. But that'll require a lot more reading.
Yeah. That feels dead. Or at least second.
Yeah, this is a Seki. But a Seki is very good for white.
Right.
Because black is still weak on the outside.
Right.
So I think white missed a good opportunity here then. Because even the very simple sacrifice variation looks pretty decent for white. And there's also a possibility of a more aggressive fighting variation.
Right.
Maybe black will extend here, and it's hard for white to fight. Hard to say.
That seems plausible.
I would recommend white just to sacrifice. It's a very simple variation. Black,
I mean, I think for at least a lot of amateurs, sometimes that can be pretty difficult to do.
it's
You're
deceptive.
doing
This
stones,
type of
right?
sacrifice.
Yeah. Takes a lot of good judgment ability to, realize that sometimes sacrifice is still okay.
Yeah, you'd rather sacrifice than live painfully in a lot of cases. So in the game, white live, here, no problem, but it's very painful. And I think the correct move is just to sacrifice everything. Then white will basically eliminate this burden.
Right.
Black missed the critical exchange here. So white will still need to capture, but black gets the 4 points. So that's a small mistake, but it does add up. I think now black would really want to
Move this out.
Yeah,
Maybe.
because the left side is very strong. So white only has one eye. Even Atari here might not be Sente. Black can still connect underneath, and now white has 2 weak groups.
Crucial asks, is there a group size limit
Yeah,
to
it's a very
sacrifice?
interesting question.
The answer is it depends.
Well,
It depends on what you're getting out of it.
I encourage you to look up the game in, I think, around 2005 Chunlan Cup between Luo Xihe and Choi Cho-han. White sacrificed, I think, 40 plus stones and won by 7.5 points. Like,
Yeah, sometimes it's very deceptive.
yeah.
I think speaking of sacrifices, I think that's actually like a core part of Michael Chen's style. He's like very good at making these sorts of exchanges where he'll like he'll like die with these giant groups, but then still somehow, you know, have the trade go in his favor.
The funny thing is, I think most of the sacrifices are not intentional. So I don't know if we can like count that as like real Gosagan style sacrifice.
I mean, you know, he's a financial analyst. Like he does this on a daily basis, right?
Yeah, but maybe. So from my 9 games against him, I feel like it's just very chaotic. He fights with chaos. But back to the sacrifice, one last point. I don't think black will actually kill. Black will probably still extend.
Yeah, the extend feels really, really big.
And then control the outside.
Right.
So even if your opponent is offering you to kill the group, you don't have to take it. Always say no. And focus on what's big.
Right.
So don't get baited.
Seems juicy, but sometimes it's not the right play.
Sometimes it's poison hidden
Yeah.
in the candy. In the game, black chose to take more profit on the top.
What is this variation?
Interesting.
This does not look very common.
I do remember this type of variation. So in the past, if black has more co-threats, there is something like this and start the fight. If white can't fight this co, for example, black co-threats here, it's actually pretty hard to deal with.
Oh, really? I want to say, like, what I remember was that usually black will just connect and let white take the outside in that sort of case. But, like, if black just wants to live in the corner, right? But I feel like in most cases,
In the corner, yeah.
black will normally just cut at E17.
I think right now this is no longer good for black because the corner is too big. The direction is a little bit better than the other take, the other capture, but I don't think black can be satisfied with this. White can just fix the center.
How's the territorial balance if it's like this?
Yeah, we can do a quick count if the game continue more peacefully. A little over 20 on the top. Let's say 20.
I mean, I guess the right side's still a little bit unsettled because white might be able to take. Well, I guess if white Atari, then white can't. But...
Yeah, I guess after Atari, it's hard to do something. So fill out 20, let's say 18, and then maybe 5 here, 5 here, and then maybe another 5 here.
6 for white and a black.
Maybe 5 here, when plus 2 captures. So black has 38,
White has
or 50,
20,
53,
30, 43.
50, 43, 53,
That's a little
43,
bit in the middle.
a little bit uncertain in the middle. So it's a reasonable game, actually, pretty close. And white has the next move, so it'll be a pretty close game. And maybe the focus of the game will shift to the bottom on the right side. I would say though, like in white seems okay from a territory standpoint, because there's some Audrey. Like if white doesn't target here, maybe there's some Audrey.
Yeah, that's why I like. It's hard to tell whether white should make that turn or not.
Yeah. So black doesn't want to give up so many points in the top left. So we should all remember, like locally, this is bad for black. You can only play this in a very unusual circumstance, or if you know for sure you'll win like this. Otherwise, it's not good. So white chose a really good Joseki here. Normally, this is okay for black, but right now the direction is awful. There's no, this is very
nothing to
narrow.
gain.
No value here, and white shifted to the top.
Right.
At 10 points solid. So that's why black chose to play something unusual, but it's unclear if it's really worth it. I think black has to extend once. So I'll recommend black to play this variation and extend here. Black has more co threats, so white can start this co. So white will need to fix, and then black can connect back. And if white,
this way you can loosen the Audrey on the outside.
yeah, then black can get an extra bump, and then play this. The white shape is not great, and black can attack both sides, like harass both sides, and maybe aim to attack the center later. So in this variation, there's no way for white to really connect both groups, and the game is very easy. Black gave white a really nice net here.
Yeah, now white is very, very strong in the middle. Well, at least like it'll help the fighting in the middle later.
I don't know about this whole exchange for white. I think if white can just make sure the middle group is thick and potentially aim to cut here, the game will be very good.
Maybe he thought like, the bottom side is the last like kind of more unsettled area. I feel like, these kind of situations in the middle where you have a group that has a lot of liberties but isn't completely alive, it's hard to know whether you should spend a move, or when to spend a move to really secure it.
Well, that's true. Hard to make the call.
Yeah.
But I wonder if white can just cut one as a testing move. If black throws in here, white can connect, and this is already some profit. The best black can do, maybe.
Actually, this just works, right?
This works for black, but maybe white can escape to the center.
Right. But then also maybe like white's middle right group is maybe not that strong to be able to do that.
But if black can capture this group, white is already far ahead in territory. So it might be worthwhile to think about something like this. So I think the game is shifting to white's favor after the top left, because black lost Sente in the process, and black didn't really gain much points anyway, because white got a wall on the outside and reduced black.
But black did take the corner. And black still got the extension at the top. Like white got pretty thick, but is there really any good way for white to use that thickness?
Well, so white capture one stone and has at least like 6 points. So you can say the corner kind of cancel out, and black have maybe not even 10 points in the top. Right? If you just like do a count, something like this, and it will help white fix the center too. So maybe black has 10 points, and black got gote. Versus the other variation where black is very similar to this one actually. So white
in a
has
way.
almost 15 on the corner. Black has a little bit, maybe a little over 20 at most. Plus some in the center.
So the balance is similar.
Yeah, and white is white lost a few more points in the game relative to this, but white's a lot stronger in the middle. So overall, it's comparable. And we already established that in this position, black is really not winning. So I think white recovered a little bit from the mistakes in the bottom left. And yeah, okay. I think
how far are we?
We're pretty close to catching up. We'll also catch up to the game and then take a break again.
Yeah.
So I think we're gearing up for the final fight for the game. In black.
So now we're seeing black going after that one-eye group on the middle right.
Yeah, white took a lot of profit here. So now if black doesn't kill something, I don't think black would have enough. But it seems a little risky for white because it was already kind of even. And now
yeah, I mean, white does have a lot of kind of dangling stones there in the middle.
Yeah, I'm a little worried. I would be worried if I were white. So escape seemed like instinct. And black fix. It almost looks like the Miai between like A and something here like B.
Is there a world where what black can extend?
So extend right now.
Yeah.
That's possible too.
Could be in the cards.
If black can extend, it seemed like white just collapsed, right? Like the middle of the set.
Right.
White cannot capture Atari.
Yeah, I don't know. Seems like it could be very dangerous for white.
I think Emil played very decisively here with his attack. And he accurately sacrificed this stone to attack the whole group. Now white.
Yeah, I think that was pretty good fighting technique.
Yeah. So notice that he has very flexible thinking here. This stone normally it will be too important to sacrifice, but as the game develops and changes, what's important also changes. It used to be important, now it's no longer important. The focus shifts to attacking the entire group. So if you kill everything, it doesn't matter if your opponent captures a stone or two in your own territory. You'll capture them right back anyway.
Right.
So in hindsight, I think white shouldn't play any of this. Would be better off.
Just defend the middle.
Yeah, let's say a very safe move like that. Why already destroyed the bottom? So there's no need to like take more points here.
Sometimes I think it's easy to get caught up with white probably maybe that was white's intention, but maybe white thought, oh, maybe I can get a little bit more first.
A little bit more, yeah.
And then in doing so, he actually made the situation more dicey.
As long as this group can live, white's probably still okay. But we can already see that like this is not really worth it for white. So if white just captures this stone, white's very thick in the center. Black doesn't have a lot of points here. White can do all kinds of Sente in game. White had less than 10 here, and white got the Sente descent. So relative to the game is not that different. White gained a lot in the center, and white has Sente. So a lot of times we rush to reduce your opponent's territory without taking account of the thickness and our own weaknesses. So if you take your weaknesses first, points will always come. Yeah, so now the game will, I would say, is overwhelmingly in favor of black. It looks like something's gonna die in the center, but we'll have to see shortly. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll come back to cover the game between Joel Kenny and Eric Yoder.
Run your tournament with ease. Betted Club's Tengen tournament tool takes the hard part out of running your tournament. With Tengen, you can create a shareable site for all your event needs that is search engine optimized and sharing friendly. Tengen can also handle all of your registration, whether your tournament is free or paid. Or if you have additives like rooms or food, Tengen can take care of your registrants with easy to use and secure checkout. And Tengen doesn't just help before your event. Tengen can handle check-in and registration morning with ease. Display a QR code to make check-in a breeze for your guests so that you have time to handle any important changes that come your way. Once you have your registrants checked in, Tengen can create all of your pairings for you with the click of a button. Capable of handling multiple tournament styles and large groups, Tengen is a tool that you want at your next tournament. Find it at app.baduk.club.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, everyone. We were gonna look at the high-profile game between Eric Yoder and Joel Kenny, but there's
go slow.
Yeah, the game is still taking a while, so we're gonna just very briefly look at this other game, and then we'll move on to the game.
And quick update on Jeremiah Donley's game versus Abraham. It looks like Abraham maintained his lead throughout the game, and now it's almost wrapping up. We can say almost with certainty that white Abraham is going to win. And earlier, we didn't cover the Eric Lee game against Ying Li because black was overwhelmingly ahead. But now the game's a little uncertain. So we'll quickly go over that before jumping into the other Eric's game.
Yep.
So Eric secured a very big opening lead. Not from this corner. This actually, Jay Donley played this against Eric Yoder. Very similar shape from yesterday. This connection, I feel like just a slow move in general.
Yeah, that's my usual feel.
It's probably about even. There's nothing major.
This one.
This generally does not work for white, so remember that. I would not recommend this for white. Although I think black Atari first. I think maybe white should just. Oh, can white even connect? It's a little difficult.
I think connect is normal. I think.
Maybe black can extend now.
Liberty race is a little weird.
So the big Kema and versus the normal Kema, it makes a big difference. Maybe white should just connect. There's nothing wrong with that. White can still.
Now the big Kema is in a good spot.
Yeah. So this is why black was so ahead. So the game result, black literally broke their whole corner. So it's basically a collapse for white. Although I'll have to point out here, black also made a mistake. Black should have Atari here first. In this case, the shape looks similar to the game, but white does not get two moves. There's no ladder. So if white extends, then black can capture an extra stone. This is several points better than the game. It's a small detail, but it's still a very good technique to remember. I don't know about this move. The shade move seems like I think black should have came out here, or push up. This move feels loose.
Usually, you also don't see like the ladder break. It doesn't actually seem that severe.
Yeah, it's not devastating for black. It's just a big move.
Yeah.
Here, I wonder if black can try something like this.
Seems potentially possible. Although it seems complicated
Yeah,
still.
maybe black doesn't want to risk it.
Yeah.
White seemed quite happy though to break black's shape like this.
Hmm. Now the stones in the middle feel a little
Yeah,
bit weak.
black didn't get much on the left, and the top is broken. So I would rather black just come back. Maybe white can get here, and black can run into the corner again.
Uh,
So later, black can still run out here, or maybe
Right.
immediately. So white has to be careful too. The white plays here, maybe there's a chance black just start a fight immediately.
I think
Yes.
the thoughts of black might have been that he thought C12 completes the shape on the left, and then if white can't do anything severe at the top, then white is kind of relatively floaty in the middle.
Yeah, but I think we have to keep in mind where points are. Points are usually associated with the corner. In this case, the top side is continuous with the corner,
Mhm.
and it connects back to the three stones.
Right.
So I would suggest that for black. In the game, black's cut off, but still, black is doing really well because of the bottom right corner.
Right. Those two stones at N3 and O3 are kind of just.
Yeah, and black
Then,
has a lot of. So white started cold here because white is behind. White wants to complicate the game. So definitely the right strategy. Unfortunately, black has a lot of code threats baked in. Extending here. I think black can keep finding a code with a double honey.
Right.
But is the code really that important? I wonder. What if black just connect?
Next seems fine. It's
Yeah.
solid.
So now black has 0 weaknesses, and white kind of want to fix here, and then black can keep attacking. If white fix the top, maybe here, then black can
I mean, the
extend.
code really isn't that big, right? Like it's not. It doesn't really affect the life and death.
Yeah. The problem is if the top black group is all connected, white's top left group is not completely alive yet.
Right.
And if black could just get a sente around here somewhere and to attack the bottom, black is still doing really well.
Hmm.
This is still risky for white though. What has happened to the right side group? If black spends another move there,
Probably gonna be
white
dead. Yeah. I mean, maybe white thought that if she trades it for the top group, that maybe it would still be alright.
So let's say black kills. Black spends another move. White spends another move.
Right.
The problem maybe is that white's life and death here is really not in question because white has some sente against the corner.
Hmm.
Maybe it's hard for black to kill this group.
Right.
Black
But white's really trying to kill black here, right? White doesn't want to just live.
That's true. So yeah, I think if black's goal is just to live, it should be pretty easy. Let's see. He played here in the game. So it is. So both sides would.
Right.
It'll
So
be
was it an
nice.
option for black to try to kill, and then can he still survive?
I think that's uncertain.
Hmm.
Wait, what did? So black's already alive. Why would black push here? Why don't white turn and then try to cut?
Hmm.
This might be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, it feels like that white will still live like this, but black can at least cut off the outside, and then go after the bottom with renewed thickness.
Yeah. So now it becomes a complicated fight. Okay. I don't know why white Atari. Oh, is it because black's not alive? Otherwise, extending here is clearly the biggest.
Yeah.
If
I would extend first regardless. I feel like
black can't
it's just
kill
so big.
anything, white is definitely ahead now.
Right. Maybe she was out for blood.
Can white kill this group?
It doesn't seem easy.
Right, like if there's a eye potential on the right. So let's say
I say it doesn't seem easy, but you would still need to check the reading. Now when I look at it again, I'm like, how does black live here?
capture has to use some of the shape weaknesses where white
But
has.
actually, white doesn't really have any weaknesses there.
But even if it's a ko, it's probably not good for black. And is there even a ko?
I don't think so. It might just be dead.
Black might need something like this.
Unless black can somehow get.
And there's no eye on the right
No,
side.
yeah, there's no eye. Yeah, I was looking at R10, but it doesn't seem feasible.
There's no eyes here.
Yeah.
So if white has captures here, it looks like black is just dead.
Yeah.
Well, let's see if that move is played in the game. Oh, so black got Sente and came back.
Okay, so black blue. So maybe that was a very big missed opportunity for white?
Yeah, I mean, the bottom right is all dead. Like, white can literally sacrifice any group,
Right.
especially in this moment. Black cannot capture everything.
Right. Well, yeah, black can only maybe capture some of the stones in the middle.
I would say one of the three groups. And maybe the center or the bottom. The top left is probably hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way black can get close like this. How big is the bottom right? Like 80 points? Give or take.
It's big enough to fit multiple hands in.
Yeah.
Well, the way I would think of it is you just like overlay that on top of any of black's territories, and it's gargantuan.
Yeah, it seemed like it will fit like this whole area.
Yeah.
And there's no way black can get this. Okay, so it seemed like white has reversed the game.
But there's some sort of capture race happening.
What if?
Wait a moment.
What if?
Wait a moment.
So this is the only move, and
Wait a moment.
5 to 5. Wait, so white's dead here.
Yeah. What happened?
Maybe white tried too hard to kill black here. Doesn't make. Oh. I think white should have just defended. Like, let's say white connect everything.
So suddenly this game went from black winning to white about to kill to back to white dying again. Very up and down.
Yeah, up and down for sure. So if white just settles everything, black does not have enough. Black doesn't have a lot of points, and white captures 20 points from the left. It looks like a sure win for white.
Yeah.
The white chose to play out this capturing race.
I wonder, so these games started at like around 2.5 hours ago, give or take.
Yeah.
So maybe it could be some amount of time pressure if she's in Byoyomi. But I feel like, 1 minute Byoyomi is pretty long.
It's enough to figure out like there's a cut problem.
Right.
Oh, this is the game? Well,
That doesn't seem to do anything.
yeah, but white is dead. And unless white can kill the bottom left group, the game will be over.
Even if white does kill it, is that even enough?
Well, white can capture, like, squeeze. Oh, but black is alive though. I don't know if there's a way to kill.
Hmm.
This will decide the game for sure. I think we can switch to the other game and then check back later.
Did you know that Baduk Club has a calendar of tournaments from across the globe? Find competitions near you or advertise your event as simple as clicking. Receive notifications when a listing is made in your area so that you can stay up to date on your local tournaments at baduk.club/calendar.
All right, welcome back. So this is the last game we'll focus on. I'm sure we've been waiting for the game between Joel Kenny and Eric Yoder. Just to remind everyone, both of them are undefeated at this point. So whoever wins will be basically guaranteed to make to the semifinals.
I think not only guaranteed to make it to the semifinals, but also guaranteed first seed.
First seed, yes.
So this is actually the critical game of this group.
So then they will avoid Michael Chen in the semifinals, which will give them a much higher chance of making the finals.
Not to mention that there is a cash prize for first and second, I believe.
Yeah, it's 2,000 for first and 1,000 for second.
So essentially, this game could be worth $1,000. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess they would still have to get through whoever's second seed in the other group, but there's like a much more realistic chance of being able to do that compared to if you have to.
Without going through Michael Chen, that's right.
Exactly.
And it's still a very close game. Both of them have played cautiously so far. It's going very slow. As we can see, the game is definitely going into endgame.
I think before we get into it, I guess we should just update everyone. Eric Lee did win by resignation against Yingli Wang.
So he won by resignation.
So he killed the big group in the middle, and she resigned.
Abraham won.
Yeah, Abraham won against Jeremiah Donley. And Nate Morse versus Emil is wrapping up, but Emil has a very solid lead.
Yes. He delivered the sucker punch in the center and captured
everything.
Everything, yeah, everything. 30 songs.
So Joel Kenny versus Eric Yoder is basically the last undecided game at this point.
And to update, we were not able to cover Michael Chen's game this morning because there were some technical difficulties.
Yeah, there's some issue with the OGS and getting
and he won by resignation.
Yeah. I think their game was the first to finish.
Yes. So in this game, Yoder was off to an opening lead. A small opening lead. So I think mostly because of the shape in the bottom left. Usually you don't want to give your opponent this very nice seal, especially if you can profit in a major way. So black just tenuki and play normal big points and allow white to get a really good shape in the bottom left. So that's not great. I would recommend black to come out here.
But even if white gets F4, there's still a number of things black can still do in there.
Yeah, and it does happen later in the game. So this is a nice history. Black can escape. There's some aji left. But I think black played here way too early. There's no reason to play this prematurely. It's kind of a painful. Black play a lot of dame points to escape and white profit on both sides. It's kind of like how we covered earlier. You rather sacrifice than live painfully. This is a classic example of that.
Although in this case, would you argue that, if you sacrifice it, it's like, then what is the point of doing any of this, right?
Well, black can just tenuki for now, and then maybe, wait another 30 moves before running out. Because this is only, white still has a good, almost 10 points in the corner. So black only destroyed maybe 15. And now black has a weak group with a lot of cutting points. There are a lot of cutting points. Here's cut here, the other one. There's also a wedge here, and maybe another cut here. It's really not worth spending a move here so early. And white plays simply to test black. This is an interesting move. I think he got a good result in the game.
The exchange was good.
Yeah, because black didn't really get much. and white has got several moves in the center.
If you look at it before all those exchanges, was black's territory already more or less settled on the left side?
It is settled, but it's still only like in the neighborhood of 10 points.
No, I think before white played all the stuff on the top.
Yeah, before white had potential to invade here, let's say like that, white can definitely live. I feel a little bad for white because now there's no chance to cut.
Right,
like,
right.
There's definitely some bad Audrey here. So I wonder if it's better to attach here, or just maybe like maybe play here directly.
Back
because
to later to this side.
There's no good follow-up for black on the left side.
Right.
And white doesn't have to commit to a center Moyo strategy so early. But I'll say, this is still comfortable for white, and white has another attacking possibility.
Right. But I don't think black is necessarily sad either, because white did help black eliminate all of the weaknesses on the side.
Well, but black is only up by maybe 5 points relative to white here. So let's say white has 0, black has 5, and this is 15. This is 15.
Right.
So black has 30 on the right, and this whole wall, I struggle to think this can get 30 points worth of value. And there's also 3 points here. So it's still a close game, but I think it's definitely comfortable for white. I think white played a nice sequence here. So white is not in a rush to attack black, but rather just take a little bit of profit on side while strengthening white's own shape. I think that's a good approach. If
It's a very
really
natural way to attack black.
To attack and everybody runs out to the center, then you'll quickly see that like white is not gaining much, and maybe there's some weakness on the left side.
Right.
So
does that mean that instead of extending, black should just jump out?
Jump out where?
In somewhere into the middle.
Instead of invading?
No, like after white turned at M18.
I think this is good because if black jumps out, white will get this move, and so this aims to connect back. So now white is very strong, and black lacks the bait. We previously stated what black has about 15 points on top right. After the exchange, black will have a little bit less than that.
Right.
White has a chance to capture, and now white suddenly has 10 points on top. So the territory is pretty balanced now, and black has a big move. I would not want to exchange this with black so early. Why? I don't know why Joel Kenny feels the need to. What if black just plays a normal move?
I mean, maybe he thought that the exchange wouldn't lose anything. I think that's a common thought.
It's possible black needs to use this exchange later. And after the exchange, white's corner is very safe. Before, if black runs out and like caps on the top, black can have some sensei moves around here, but not after those exchanges.
It's also possible that maybe black just wanted to jump out further, so he wanted to get the G16 stone and sente.
But even if you just jump out, I don't see how white can separate black. And if white do something like this, I think it's still not too late to play here.
Maybe sente anytime, right?
Yeah. And black is not afraid of, white's not gonna descend here.
Right.
This is another big move. So I think Eric is playing very peacefully and accurately in opening. So now black can't really afford to reinforce the center again.
My feeling is that black should reinforce again anyways, though. Maybe black could also aim at cutting at G8 in the future.
Yeah, so I think that this has to be in black's plan to somehow be in the attacking position.
Right.
Because black is really not ahead in points
Hmm.
by much. Is a very slim lead in territory. What about this move?
This move. I feel like black will just jump. Okay, I'm
One
still
thing
keeping an eye out.
White
for
can
these four stones.
make some exchanges here first.
Any way to resist?
If black connect, then this basically cut off black connection to the left side because white also have a sente jump here.
Right.
And it seemed like this will be a very comfortable attack for white.
Hmm.
Maybe black can Hane here. I think this will be a strong move. So if white has sente here, maybe it doesn't do much. Maybe using
hard
the
to say.
extension something.
Hmm.
It's possible. Something to consider for white.
Hmm.
Directionally, white is still doing well though, because this move really expands the right side, and forcing
Right.
black to play here, it's good because there's no point. This is effectively a dominant move as long as white can make sure
That white doesn't become weak.
like these three stones are safe.
Right. Right.
That's the most important part.
Yeah, so I guess if you compare like the value of L15 and K12 to say H13 and F13, then you can definitely tell that white's moves are going to be worth more.
Yeah. I don't know. This sequence seems a little risky for white because now white shifts the direction here and allows.
Yeah, now white is
to
focusing on
cut
that,
this way.
and yeah.
This seemed like the wrong direction. White has extension here, sente. So if you place a stone here, but what if you just extend again?
Yeah, or white can just switch his focus back to the right side too.
Yeah,
How would you go with the bottom right? You know, that like R6, R8 area.
It's hard to attack the R8 stone, but white can definitely achieve a good seal on the outside. For example, this.
Hmm.
If black Hane is here, maybe white can.
Can white fight this?
Here. It's possible. Now black's under attack.
Give up. Well, I mean, would white just try to kill black in that kind of situation?
White doesn't have to kill black. If white can get some stones in the center, that might be good enough.
Hmm.
White only needs about 30, 35 points.
Right.
Or even if just something like this might be good.
Yeah, I think I like that. It feels like much more of a natural flow, and you can just naturally sit down the middle.
So if white can force black into something like this, you should be okay.
I feel like this is another situation where maybe Eric played E12 thinking he can get some sente moves to, you know, block that side off and sente, and then come back to the bottom right.
So the cut is a good move to fix the
Yeah.
push cut. I think even now though, this seems like the right direction. If black Atari here, white Atari, it's all very small. White can come back. This is definitely the biggest point in the game.
Right, right. That looks pretty good for white.
Yeah. And later, white can still extend. This is kind of annoying. If black fixes, there's still more peep. There's still peep.
Right.
And white can peep again. So even if black cuts off these three stones, it's only 6 points back.
Right.
White saved this part. So I think white made a directional error here. White failed to expand his lead. Now black caught up a bit.
And now, yeah, white ended up being the one taking a few points. In exchange, white gave up his whole middle.
Is it possible for black to Nuki that?
If white plays c14 now, can black go in the corner?
There might be a collator. Or maybe if white plays here. The Audrey is bad though.
Yeah,
I don't think
white
white
can
can keep a clean kill.
suspicious. Hmm.
And now black gets a Sente.
Yeah, I think if black gets that, then white's whole position on the right side feels
And now the bottom group
not effective.
is somewhat weak. The only thing I'm not sure is if the bottom left what black group is safe. Like if later white cuts off here, could there be life and death issues? So black has an eye here, so that's
Right.
probably not a
I
concern.
don't think there should be.
Yeah, I really want to Atari here as black. Now white's bottom group is no longer safe,
Right.
and there's no center moyo anymore. Now black is aiming to make 40 points in the bottom right.
Right. And then that just means white has to make 55 instead of 30, right?
Yeah, and the
And
top
55
left is not
definitely a lot
prepared
harder.
for it yet. So black lost maybe 20 points in the left, but white lost most of the influence in the center and any future potential to attack black center group. And black easily gained 15 points on the right. I think it's the worthwhile trade for black.
Let's see what happened.
This is interesting. I kind of want white to extend.
And come back to the bottom right.
And then come back.
How does white come back to the bottom right now? Because now it's not the same. Like white can't just build the outside. It's not as easy.
Yeah, so maybe that's why he chose to go from this direction.
To secure what he could in the middle, give up that one stone. But of course, this isn't as good as if white had managed to just stay consistent on the outside.
I still want to do something here rather than just allow black a really clean capture. Now it's a lot harder for black to capture without Audrey. Right? Like there's definitely a cut. There's not white can double hunt it.
Right.
Right? If black plays something like this, then the wall is so much better than the game. This normally is a shape move, but in this game, the cut is too obvious and a weakness. So it didn't turn out to be good for black. I think that was a mistake.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's like very instinctual, but you always have to double check.
Yeah, so here it's very similar shape, but then black's all connected, and there's a back door to connect anytime. In the game, these two stones are hanging. White can capture them anytime. So black lost a lot of points here without gaining anything in the center. And even worse, this white group is now very safe.
Right. Well, there's still potential for black to pull out the two stones, but that would require black to invest the move to do so.
Yeah. And black doesn't have a back door now, so this center group has to connect back to it.
Right.
Otherwise, it doesn't have. There's no two eyes.
Right.
So I think that's the meaning behind this move. If black try to do anything, then potentially white can cut up the center group.
Right. Yeah, black has to be very careful in how he manages this fight.
Yeah. So now this is a good exchange for white. And now white can back to the cut.
So it seems like this game will go to endgame at this point. At this stage, I think both players are pretty close to Byoyomi. Like at this move in the game.
Hmm? Interesting. Wow. So white gained a lot here.
Black did gain stuff on the right side as well. Maybe it's hard to say.
Yeah, so this is big, but allowing white to capture in the bottom is also quite painful.
But I mean, black can still capture the stone later.
I wonder why should Hane here. So usually this exchange is very good for black because black can get this follow up. But
Right.
now maybe it's better if white Tenuki at this point to make this exchange. I'm not sure why black didn't capture here in the game.
Wait, did white? Oh,
I guess there's a ko, and black wasn't sure whether this ko works. Black has enough ko threats. It might be worthwhile, honestly, for black to fight this.
yeah. But he'd have to count and I guess see whether.
It's in Byoyomi.
Yeah, it might be difficult to make that kind of decision because if black can't win the ko, then black just loses a lot, right?
But black can make some ko threats here.
Right.
And there are ko threats against the corner here too, potentially. And black can Tenuki for now. And white can fix the ko. So I guess it will depend on how confident black is about the game.
Right.
But let's say white, the game continues the same, and then white come back. I feel like this Atari is not as scary as the one in the game. This is not strictly centering. Or if white can maybe.
It's not small though. Like it's still pretty sizable.
Well, but like in the game, black got to this line, right? Because of all the push, and
yeah, but now black can link under, almost.
So now, black can't even play. Black can't even connect like that. The only thing black can do is maybe this. Yeah, like that. So the difference is 3 points here, but then white gained 4 points here already.
But then black gained a few more points.
Well, the game I think is the same. Oh, but white got Gote. So if white plays here, right? So basically, these three stones are moved one line up. That makes a big difference. And there's no different. The question of Sente versus Gote. White got Gote here in the game.
Perhaps it'd be good to do a quick count, just have an idea of,
Yeah, we'll do a quick count at this point.
So I guess I can count white.
+1 capture. Here, let's say 1 here.
I have around 61 plus Coney for white.
52, 52, about 59 for black. Maybe.
Maybe I missed some.
So 60.
Yeah, it seems like white's up by about Comey.
What? Does black only have 60? If so, then white is ahead by even more than Chromie, right? How big is the center? Almost 30.
Yeah, around 30. Give or take.
Maybe 28. 38 plus the top left, 38, 40, 44, 45, 50, 60. White has more than, well over 60.
Well, but it depends on like, I mean, there's still some endgame like to be played in the middle, and then.
But I feel like the black doesn't really have any place to grow. So the 17 here is very solid. Like you can't really, you won't change by much. And same with the 32 here. 15, 16, 18, 20, 26, 28, 30, 32. So up to here is 32. And then plus the left side, maybe 10 at most.
Maybe 11.
I'll probably count the Hane here for white.
Yeah.
So 10 to 11.
Oh, but I guess after B, even if black gets B15,
There's like a wedge or Hane.
Yeah, there's like some Hane shenanigans.
32, 49, 60, 62. Maybe 1 to 2. So 64. And I think white has 66, 67. So even, it might be, I think white is ahead on the board.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. It seems like according to the AI, it agrees with that. It's like a small lead on the board and then press 1.
Okay, so our count was okay.
Yeah.
So at this point, barring any major blunders, I think white has this in the bag, I would say. Because it's a very peaceful game. I think
it seems difficult
effectively just outvalued Joe Kenny in the opening and maintained that lead throughout.
Yeah, I think maybe there was some chance, in the middle. After Joe Kenny managed to.
I think here black lost a lot too, because in one move, so after this point, like here, the black Tanuki to Atari here, and the white play a series of exchanges, and that resulted in like these two stones.
Right.
Almost being dead.
Or at least black had to spend another move.
Yeah.
And
the Atari at F5, it's not a big endgame.
Well, he was probably afraid of the wedge, right?
Let's see. Is there a better way for black to fix that? Is there really? So, what if black, for example, black extend wedge? Can white really do this?
No.
Still seem premature.
Because black and Atari.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
White connect like this too much. This is too much. Then extending here is clearly the better move. And now white has liberty shortage, so even moves like that might not work.
I have some dreams about whether or not black can do something like G6, but that might be a fake Suji.
G6. Does that do anything?
I don't seem like it does too much. Yeah, no, doesn't really do anything.
I think if black extends here, black can still fight in the endgame. I think white also missed a sequence here. Well, I think this is better for white.
Get some more points.
So now I think white guaranteed this move Sente.
And then maybe white can get S15.
Yeah. So compared to the game, white lost a few points in the bottom, but got F15. It's a super endgame.
Right.
It's probably worth it.
Hmm.
So the little things here matter,
Yeah.
especially in a close endgame. Is there anything? The problem is, I guess, there's nothing here. So White did lose a few points relative to the game.
But the Sente should still be more.
Yeah, but the Sente should be worth more.
That's worth quite a bit.
It's a shame Black didn't have time to play this move.
Yeah,
If
that's
Black
pretty
can
big.
play the Tiger Mountain Sente, then the center group is pretty much safe. And Black
Right.
gets Sente to play endgame.
Yeah, the game's tough.
I think Black probably knew he's slightly behind going to endgame, so he needs to find ways to squeeze out an extra point or two here and there. So this exchange is already several points better than the game. Like Black gained a point here, maybe here, and White lost like points here.
Right.
So it's like three point swing.
Yeah, I feel like sometimes, especially in Byoyomi, although like this is longer Byoyomi, but you know, sometimes it can be hard to make those endgame calculations. But at this level, that's kind of something you just have to be able
Yeah,
to do.
that's how games are decided, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
little things.
They all matter.
So assuming Yoder wins, what will happen? Does Joel Kenny? He's still in the running for a second, right?
Yeah, definitely in the running. We can maybe take a quick look at who he's going to be playing next. So this evening, he will be playing. He had to bye this evening, and he plays Donley tomorrow. So Donley, with 2 losses, he is.
Yeah, he's unlikely to advance.
No, but I think it's still possible because he already played Yoder.
Correct. So if he beat Joel Kenny, Edward.
Yeah. And he would be at 2 wins.
So he needs Joel Kenny to lose both games.
Yeah, so if Joel Kenny loses the rest of his games.
And Abraham.
Have you played Abraham yet? Or he just lost to
Just lost to Abraham.
Okay, so he needs Abraham to lose to Yoder.
To lose to Yoder and Edward. And
Yeah. So I think there's still a path for him out. If he beats Joel Kenny, he'll have the head-to-head over him. And if Abraham loses, which are actually wait, hold on.
the only one out is Edward.
No, but if right, because he's guaranteed to lose to Joel Kenny no matter what, like in the tiebreaks.
Yeah.
So Donley's Jay still has a chance. Abraham still has a chance. Of course, I mean I would say Joel. So first, Donley has to win against
Joel Kenny.
Edward this evening. But if Jay loses any of his remaining games, and if Abraham loses to Yoder, because Joel already beat Abraham. So if Abraham loses, if either Jay or Abraham loses any more games, I think Joel will still get second off the tiebreaks. Yeah.
And
So I would say Joe is still in a good position, but Jay and Abraham are not out of it yet.
right, the other group beside Michael is between Emil and everybody else lost 2 games.
Yeah. So Emil will play Michael next. So yeah, it's still definitely
Still uncertain.
yeah, still uncertain. I think we'll have a much better idea of who's likely to advance after the round this evening.
Yeah, for sure.
And that will decide a lot. What matchups do we have in Group A this evening? We have Emil versus
Michael Chen, Lee versus Morse, Lin versus Wang.
it's Emil versus Michael. We have Lee versus Morse. So Nate is still not out of it yet. Actually, is anyone out of it yet in Group A?
Technically, no, right?
Technically, no. They all still have a chance.
Well, it's exciting. It'll come down to the last game.
Yeah, it really will come down to probably the final round of the group stage tomorrow. But after the round this evening, I think we'll actually have some more eliminations, and the state definitely some people will be in by then.
Yoder is guaranteed in at this point, right? If he wins this game.
Yeah, I think assuming he wins, he will be guaranteed in.
Interesting to note. I didn't know this, but Ying Li is from Indiana, and definitely from Wisconsin. Eric Yoder, and Jay Donley are both from Ohio. So we have a lot of Midwestern players.
Wait, so Joel, so Asolon is saying if Joel beats Abraham. No, if Joel beats Abraham, then Joel will have 3 wins.
Yeah.
So
And he's guaranteed.
he'll be guaranteed at that point.
Yeah, let's tune back to the game.
Wait, who would be the other 3-1? I don't think there would be another 3-1. Right?
Oh, interesting. So the game between
wait.
Emil and Nate was only a 3.5 point game.
Oh, really? Huh.
Well, still a win.
Yeah, still a win. 3.5 points is, I mean, it's somewhat slim, but not that slim.
Right.
It's countable.
It's smaller than what we were expecting.
Yeah, for sure.
Back to the final game. White has 2 periods left. Black has 1. They're both down to the last 2 Byoyomi periods.
Right.
See what happens.
I still feel like with 1 minute Byoyomi, it's probably unlikely that Yoda will make a mistake.
I agree.
Yeah. Or at least he'll make like a significant enough mistake. Because like a 6-point, 7-point lead is still that's pretty difficult.
This wedge though, I feel like that made the game a little closer.
P16.
Yeah, and then Black got this move.
This
6
is
points,
big.
7 points. This is only 3. According to score estimator, White's up by 6 on the board. The White's lead just keeps expanding. I think part of it is because as the board gets smaller, the score estimator will become more accurate. The biggest problem for Black this game is that White got this territory from out of nothing.
Right.
Like this was more or less always there, and White got the final good endgame here. Black still only had this corner. The 10 points here never changed, and same with like the 15-ish in the top right.
Right.
But the bottom like got more than 10 points, like almost 20 actually.
Well, yeah. So yeah, Ace1 is right. So there is some potential for a three-way tie in Group B.
In Group B for second.
Yeah, if Abraham wins the rest of his games against Edward, and if he beats Yoder, and if Joel Kenny wins one game against Donley, then Eric will have beaten Joel would have beaten Abraham, and Abraham would have beaten Yoder. And I think there are some rules for three-player tie breaks. So, according to the rules, that kind of tie will be broken by a random draw and one tie-breaking match. Which means, I guess, one person advances and then two players play for first and third. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure how that would work. Random draw and one tie-breaking match. Does that mean one person advances and the other two have to play for elimination?
Sounds like it. This is a random draw.
Yeah. I feel like maybe they should have it be like SOS and then the bottom two can fight for the tiebreak.
But if it's a three-way tie, the SOS might be the same too.
Oh, wait, because it's round robin.
Yeah.
Maybe
Then
Sodos?
SODOS will be the same.
Yeah.
I think you just have to do an extra game at that point.
Right.
Yeah, or the instant playoff.
Yeah, but it would kind of suck. Like, if you're pick, it's a little bit unfair for the person who just gets in automatically. Although, if the person, if they're playing for first and third, you could also argue that it is a little bit more fair because if you're second in that group and you have to play against Michael, then maybe you would almost rather play the playoff for first and then avoid him, right? So in that sense, just given the circumstances, that actually might end up being somewhat fair.
Well, if Yoder wins the next round, then it wouldn't be this.
Yeah, then we won't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
So I think the round this evening will really decide a lot of things.
Yeah, it will clarify a lot of things.
Yeah. Seems like according to the AI, Eric's lead is growing. Seems like he's at about.
Is it possible that they
18
fixed
points?
it so now the point lead is after Comey?
I don't know. Okay. Okay, so it's still.
No, I'm talking the point lead.
That means Eric is actually ahead by
Like
a
15.
lot.
Is there really such a blowout?
Wait, what happened? Wait, it was a lot closer before. What happened?
Yeah, I don't think Black made any substantial mistakes.
Yeah. I mean, maybe we should just.
Count again
Count
since
it.
we have
Yeah.
54 minutes.
Yeah.
So 2 captures.
17.
52, still 32.
Wait, I got 33. 34. 15.
I don't count captures.
Oh. Well, you count capture at the end?
Yeah.
Uh,
So 15, 32, 2 captures. 10, 5 here.
64,
31. Oops. So I count 72 for white.
Oh, then that actually is pretty cool. Well, I mean, it is actually pretty accurate.
Oh wow! So Black's only have like 65. White has 72.
Yeah. Well, let me count white too.
Now black has hovered around 65 for most of the game. I count 74 for white.
I kind of like 76. But yeah, it seems like white is ahead by quite a bit on the board.
Yeah,
actually.
white can afford reverse Comey.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is actually quite a solid.
Yeah, it
lead
became
for
a blowout
Yoder.
win at the end. Interesting.
Yeah. How were we so off before?
I think it was closer before.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Oh, I guess black didn't get F3. That's kind of
Black
big.
didn't get F3. Black also didn't get K11.
Ah,
And I think this connection is also a mistake. There should be a better way here. I don't think white can really
yeah.
do this. Yeah, well, black can just run into the territory.
Yeah.
All right, so this is several point difference. So black played a dame
Yeah.
and didn't. Oh, so I think white got a lot of reverse sente.
Yeah,
this
white got
capture, I don't think
B15.
was the biggest. You should connect and block
Hmm.
and then capture maybe.
Yeah.
I think white wedge here might be a mistake unless. Oh, I see. So there might be something here.
Oh, some small ending there.
It's a reverse sente, so it makes sense actually. So this white was not a mistake. It's a big reverse sente endgame.
Hmm. But yeah, so it seems like especially if he managed to get K11 and F3 and B15, then it makes sense why the lead widened.
I think the main issue is this connection. Right here.
The one here.
This is exactly just a dominant point. If black can make exchanges here and connect, then basically black will never have to play that move.
Right.
This entire game. Maybe even this. So white captures, black can capture in sente, and then come back.
Yeah.
So slowly but surely, white gradually expanded his lead.
Right.
I think we're just waiting for the final results. Do we want to wrap up for this morning?
I kind of just feel like we never did some player introductions for them. I mean, I know a lot of people know about Eric Yoder. Probably fewer people know about Joe Kenny.
Yeah,
I'm somewhat familiar with him.
right. Joel is from 5-down player from New York.
Right. Actually, he was originally from Canada.
Oh,
And
okay.
then after he finished school, he moved to New York for work, I think. But yeah, he's definitely played in a lot of tournaments, has a lot of experience.
He did really well in the U.S. Open this year.
He got third place in the 5-down division, I believe, with a 3-3 record.
I think so. John Shu was first. Sung Soo was he? I think he might have been second, right? Was he second or third?
I think Joe was third.
And Sung Soo was second.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So he plays in the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
He ran
From
the
what
Gotham.
I've heard, yeah, he runs the Gotham tournament. From what I've heard, he studies a lot. Is always continuously improving. I mean, I think he's always getting a bit stronger.
And you suffered a devastating loss against him.
We don't need to talk about that. Yeah, Joe did beat me in the U.S. Open by half a point.
Yes.
I did return the favor by helping his SOS by winning most of my remaining games after that. I think if I didn't win my final game to open, he wouldn't have gone third. But carried him with my SOS. Oh yeah.
So Edward was not the first 6-on Joel Kenny has beaten in the tournament.
You know what's funny? Joel Kenny actually beat Alex Chi last year.
What?
Maybe it was last year or this year, like earlier, in some tournament in New York. So he gets these like random upset wins sometimes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, last year. I think it was some tournament in Stony Brook. Joel Kenny was only 4-on at the time. Alex was almost
like a
pro.
high 6 or low 7, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So
Wow.
he definitely has like very high highs.
He was almost gonna come to the Chicago Rapid last year, but he got COVID, had to cancel. So Joel, if you look back at the stream, we'll love you back. Maybe as a pro. We'll see.
Yeah, I think he's still in a good position, even if he loses this game, which he probably will. I think he's still in a pretty good position to advance to the semifinals. He just has to wrap things up in his last game when he plays Donley. But even if Jay Donley is eliminated already, sometimes the players who are already eliminated, once the pressure's all off, they can really play their best. So
yeah,
I don't think it'll be an easy game by any means.
Brian Lee in a similar situation back in the days. His profile.
Yeah, map the ball. Yeah. These upsets happen, and Jay and Joel, in terms of rating, like they're both still pretty close to each other, so definitely.
Yeah, it'll be a pure
very
toss
tight
up.
match. Yeah. Right, we might as well stick around for the end result. It's pretty close. I think they should be wrapping up very soon.
Although the last 50 moves can take a while. Just wait for the result to trickle in. I think this is the
if you guys
highest
don't mind, I'll
quality.
join you on stream as well. Just hang out and watch the end.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hey, Devin.
Hello, Devin. I think this is the highest quality game I've seen from this year's Pro Qual by far. I don't think there were blunder level mistakes except maybe this move.
End game.
Yeah, an end game. But at that point, Wai was already up by Comey, and then it wasn't game changing. Because White had an opening lead and just kept building on it, and maintained a small but still sizable lead throughout the game.
Right.
Around Comey.
Yeah.
I think this game is a good example of, making sure you pay attention to the important area of the board.
Yeah, I think Yoder would be happy about how this game turned out for him. Just a little bit of an imperfection here. I think he got to play in the wrong direction. Otherwise, it's very clean. I don't really see any major issues.
Right.
Like just control the game. And here, like Joel made a small mistake, and then he was able to seize on that and really play the game safe.
Right. But of course, if you want to become a pro player, like you have to be very good with all of the small detail. Like you can't let anything go.
Yeah, and maybe to finish your introduction, Yoder played a very famous broken ladder game last year in the Pro Qual.
Right.
Building on his game against me in the Midwest Open, where he played his first broken ladder. He had that experience to actually win with the broken ladder.
Right. Well, in the one with you, it didn't actually work out for him, right? It was not ideal broken ladder.
It's about even. It's about roughly an even trade. So it wasn't game changing. It was just cool. But in the Pro Qual game, he actually got like a 15-point swing from the broken ladder trade.
Yeah, I mean, getting third place last year is a pretty big accomplishment. I think definitely Eric Yoder, I would say, is the favorite to get second in this year's tournament.
Yeah, he had plums here and then, but I think his form this year is looking very strong.
I think his chances against Michael Teng probably still not that high, generally speaking, but sometimes Michael Teng does drop some games randomly.
Yeah.
If he drops 2 random games, it could happen.
Michael Chen
Yeah.
is a player who can beat professional 9-dan and also lose to 6-dan.
Yeah, exactly.
Dang, it's hardcore. Ah, man, this was these were a lot of exciting games. I mean, yeah, thanks for covering. It looks like you guys covered the player profiles. You guys covered the standings. Let chat know. You know, kind of like what's potential. It's I'm really grateful for your commentary today. So a lot of good
problem.
you have we were talking about fans in chat earlier, like, you know, which players have fans, but I feel like you guys have your own fans too, probably. Justin Albert fans out there. So yeah, if there are Justin Albert fans in the chat, speak up for sure. So, and also hello to Big Wizard in the chat.
Yes, Devin is back.
That's right. Looks like also the USGO commentator, and maybe you already mentioned this, but both players are in their final overtime period. So
Right.
that's kind of, yeah, I just saw that and I was like, whoa, sitting there. A minute overtime is fairly long.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's really just, you know, like 1-pointer moves
Mhm.
left. So I don't think they should need a whole minute to play the rest of the moves.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say sometimes, like, you know, you get to the end of a game and you just want to like count again. So you'll still like use up your Yomi period just to like, you know, double check your count
Right.
over and over. But I mean, at least in terms of like deciding what move to play, I don't think they need that much time to do that at this point.
To actually make the call. No, it's just
Right.
As Joel, if I were Joel, though, I would feel a little bit bummed because it's a pretty peaceful game, but then somehow the margin expanded to 15, 16 points.
Right. I feel like those are always the hardest games because like
A little hard to swallow.
Well, no, I mean not necessarily that, but it's like it's harder to tell why you lost because it feels like you didn't make any big mistakes, but somehow you just still lost.
Do you think Joel's waiting for a mistake like J13 kind of filling their own dame in a bad way?
Or like F9.
I think in a peaceful game, players are just more inclined to play to the end.
Well, I think that also at this point, you know, the game's so close to ending, like you might as well finish it. I feel like it's sort of some sort of etiquette, like you know, you've kind of played out the entire end game. You know, at this point when there's pretty much no moves left, you might as well just play it out.
True. Yeah. There's no harm, you know. They're at the highest level. They're at the, you know, the nationals. They've flown across the country to meet in San Francisco and play. I mean, why not see the game to the end? So.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's some limits to that, of course.
True. Yeah. No. It's
Okay,
true.
like, as long as like it's relatively reasonable, then.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, on the other hand, like 17 points is a lot.
Yeah, if you have a reasonable cutoff, I'll argue like above that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would argue like the reasonable cutoff would be like 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Under 10, single digit.
Again, I think.
But
they're
I mean,
waiting for,
they're pretty much filling dame, so.
I think they're waiting for a key dame just to see, you know. Okay, actually, it looks like we have the. Oh wait. That's strange. Never mind.
What happened?
No, nothing. Something just happened a little bit out of order. So yeah, they dealt with the. Well, the dame I'm still worried about is still there.
The Salvatore.
Yeah, like Black did the extend. I didn't even see it happen. So yeah, I mean, both Salvatares are still there. I honestly think like Joel's just like gonna see, you know, if he'll do it. I mean, if I'm Eric, if I know I'm ahead by 17, I'm
not gonna fight the co.
No, I'm not gonna fight the co. You're right. I would like
take 10 minutes.
Finish the game faster.
Yeah, get some rest. Like they should both be thinking about their next game right now, right? I mean,
They only have an hour and a half until the next game. That's not that much time.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Oh wait, that's still cooked. Okay, yeah, he's still fighting it out. He's still fighting
Eric
it
is
out.
not conceding a single point.
Yeah. That's funny. Kirby in the chat might be good to end early so opponents well rested for round 4. Helps with SOS. Yeah, help your opponent out. Yeah, Justin was giving great examples earlier too about how to help his opponent with SOS. So that's a good way to play.
Like after that game where I lost to Joe Kenny, like I remember we were at like I think we were at a bar like later that evening. We were like hanging out with there were some other pros there and everyone was hanging out. And I told him like, like now we have to like help each other's SOS at this point, right? I held up my end of the deal. She ended up going 3-3, like didn't help my SOS at all.
Man.
I didn't place because of my SOS.
Oh no.
But 3-3 is 5 down in a 5 to 6 down division. It's
Yeah.
not bad.
But
but
third place in 6 down was also 4-2, but just the SOS didn't work out on the table.
Speaking of half point,
arguably, like even if Joe had done better, like it might not have mattered anyways.
Mm-hmm.
I also had a half-point loss in the U.S. Open Masters this year.
No.
Right, that first round.
That first round. Yeah, against one of the crowd favorite teacher, Yi Xian.
Teacher of the year.
Yesterday.
Right.
Well, at least there wasn't, kind of an embarrassing loss. I feel a little worse about those than, like, if I play something just really ridiculous and I lose it based on that, then half.
Oh, I had that at Congress.
You've had it?
I had that and
Ooh, ouch.
both of the games I lost in the Open were. One was half point, the other one was something ridiculous.
Oh, where you just missed a giant, the simple life and death.
I didn't even miss it. It was just like I saw it.
I did it on purpose. Justin.
And I just didn't play it. It was really, really bizarre. I don't know how to describe it.
Oh,
I have experienced that before. There was one game where I thought for one move, I thought for about 15 minutes. And I played a move that I already thought about, like it doesn't work.
Oh, right.
But I played it because I've been thinking for too long. Like I forgot I've thought about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I immediately after playing, like, oh, why did I play there?
Yeah. That's why computers are good at Go now.
That's why I don't recommend people to think more than 5 minutes on a single move. You start to forget what you thought about.
All right, one of those self-retires is gone, but there's still one more.
There's one more player.
Exactly.
Exactly. So in this case, Black will win by 4 or 5 points.
Yeah. Like, so you're saying there's a chance.
So you're saying. Dang. Well, if you guys are okay with it, I think, people are enjoying watching.
There it is.
There it is?
There it is.
It's gone.
Truly no hope.
All chances are gone.
Oh man, that was it. That was what we were waiting for, right? Yeah, chat got excited, like, because when you said there it is, I was like, wait, it actually happened? But no, didn't actually go through. But makes sense. I mean, these guys aren't going to throw.
Like even just tell you. So Black didn't even get the last damage. Like any extra point from there.
Oh yeah, Black can get the last damage now. The damage are cool dots. Oh, there you go. I hope Eric doesn't play a dame right now. And prolong the co. Theoretically.
1, 2, 3.
He could still win the co, right? 1, 2.
No, I don't think he can. He'll miss by 1 co threat.
Well, he has B's. Is B 13 a co threat?
Well, if we play it out real quick, because we're bored. This is a
All right.
co threat.
Oh, that's true. It's the other family.
Yeah, why is down 1 threat?
Yeah.
And I think maybe this is another threat.
Which one?
Is there another threat here?
I think they might have wrapped up,
The-
guys. Just so you know.
Okay.
Oh.
So
I
now
think are they coming?
they should be counting.
Right.
Seems like we're just waiting for an official result.
Right. Yeah. US Go says counting. That's what our order on the ground has. Yeah, it's funny for chat too. Look at these guys here. We have two of the strongest players in the country not at the event, and they, they're even though they know the result, they're kind of like, oh, let's argue about the result of the co. And I love it. I mean, it's a great example of what it means to be a strong player. So I love you guys that you guys are able to get that thoughtful about it. I mean, that's cool. We gotta.
Maybe we can get a shot of the playing room.
Yeah, let me go set that up. Get a view. Good call.
Also, who's doing the game recording?
I saw Chris Garlock in the background today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard him earlier, but
So Chris is he's working with some on the ground volunteers in the EJ, and he was one of the people doing game recording, and the other people are a myriad of volunteers. So yeah.
okay. Are they all local to San Francisco, I'm guessing?
I want to say yes, but I can't confirm. I know it's like a couple of people from like a family, like two or three people in a family.
Oh,
Like the
okay.
Burrells, I think, are recording today. We actually have some of the Burrells there. Yeah. But I'm going to show the game room. So 1 second.
Okay.
Okay, White won by 16.5. That is the official result.
Yeah, definitely a very big margin. Solid game for Eric Yoder. Puts him into almost guaranteed first seed, almost.
I think Joel will definitely study this opening more as a follow-up after this corner. This ultimately contributed to his loss. He lost a lot here.
Yeah, unfortunately, he only has an hour and 24 minutes until the next round. Actually, no. Joe Kenny has a bye in the evening, I think.
Well, Yoder is playing.
Yeah, Joe Kenny has a bye, so he actually can, do some research. Maybe review this game before tomorrow. Maybe do some prep against Jay. Figure out what he wants to play.
And Yoder will play Florencia, and that's his last game.
Yeah. So we'll see whether Yoder can sweep the group, or whether there might be some potential for a three-way tie. Yeah. Oh.
Okay, yeah, so it looks official. It looks like we have a result of White by 16.5, so Eric did win. And unfortunately, the camera, on the ground camera, isn't broadcasting right now. It actually belongs to Jeremiah, and he's just using his phone. And I think it's one of the most important cameras. And I talked to the San Francisco guys and said, hey, I need you to cam there. And they're like, oh, yeah, maybe. So,
I think it's always nice to see.
Yeah, it is. And last night we zoomed in on some of the players. It's kind of cool when you can get that, close up and see him. Eric at one point jumped up from his game and ran around the room. I don't think anyone saw it but me, because I had the full shot. I had zoomed in on the Nate Morse game, but I was like, wow, that's it's hilarious. Not sure what happened, but we got congrats to Yoder from Amwich. I'll let him know. And then, I guess it's officially the wrap. So, yeah, tell us what's next round? What's the pairings and?
We'll come back at 2:30.
2:30 Eastern time and
Wait,
2:30 Pacific time.
5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, 2:30 Western.
Yes,
Pacific.
exactly.
And then we'll have new commentators for tonight. Believe Paul. I forgot his last name.
Paul Mendola and
Mendola.
aka Midnight the Blue. and another member from our local Go Club, KDO. It's going to be a wildly different stream than you guys. So it's interesting, it'll be interesting to see how what chat thinks. I think we got a really deep insight here, and we're going to have Justin back on later. I can't. Albert, did we schedule you later?
Yeah, tomorrow morning.
Okay, great, perfect. So we have.
I'll be back Wednesday morning or Wednesday the morning round.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So I know, Chad, I know you guys love these guys, and so that's when you should tune back in to see them. Actually, you should tune in for everything, but that's when you get those guys back on. And then later today we're gonna have kind of weaker players, but it's gonna be about kind of like kind of getting hyped, getting excited. Anyway, we'll find out. It'll be fun. So, all right. Well, any closing words? Any shout outs to your mothers, lovers?
Well, Chicago Rapid, the day has been set. November 4th. Hope to see you in Chicago.
Yeah.
Check out Badoo Club for detailed rules and registration.
Definitely.
I want to say thanks to Devin and the Badoo Club for putting this team together. Shout out to everyone on the ground floor as well over in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And thanks to chat for watching us. And stay tuned for the next.